Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today we are going over Bane. That's right, we're going to take a closer look at my Bane vest. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the vest, and then we're actually going to do a tutorial on hard aging on fabric. So my vest consists of four main parts. There is the front armor part that's got the chest plate, the under vest that's got the back chest plate, the kidney belt, and of course the shoulder straps that kind of holds everything together. And the kidney belt can actually be worn as a separate, so if you're looking for an awesome kidney belt, this is a great start. So here I wanted to show you the parts of the costume from the previous description, just so you can kind of get an idea of how this vest is put together. It is very intricate and it is kind of tricky, but it is one dress friendly to get in and out of. Once you've actually put the vest on and adjusted it to your body, it's easier to get in and out of from there on out. And no kidding, this costume's gone through an evolution within itself. Back in 2012, there wasn't as many photos on the internet when I first started creating the first vests that I had made. I think I had maybe 4 or 5 photos. So as time came closer and the movie came out, I was able to get a lot more reference photos. That way I was able to change key elements of this costume to make it look a little bit more screen accurate. This even consists of how many eyelets I was putting on the vest, the color of the armor, the size of the vest, the padding that I put inside of it. I mean, we're talking like different tiny details, like the walk wheel that I used for the ties on the side, the mesh that I was actually using. I used to use this crappy stuff and now I actually use the spacer mesh. The back armor parts, the style of that has completely changed. The webbing that I was using on the costume, and not to mention all of the hardware that went into this costume as well. So lots and lots of reference photos are definitely a must, and you will need to know about sewing and what needles and what feet you'll want to use on your project, just so that way you save yourself a headache. Holy crap, brass. We were actually making these buckles in-house by hand when we first started doing it, till I found a machining company that actually do it. Now when I first started making the belt, we used to use these bigger D-rings that you could get from Tandy Leather Factory, like right here and here. And they were just too bulky, so I went back and had the company actually make the D-ring out of brass, which you can see a little bit right here. And I'm going to put a side-by-side photo right here of the original vest and our creation. So pretty. I was also lucky enough to be able to take a short road trip over to California to see a real live exhibit that had the real Bane vest, so that way I was able to get a lot more reference photos. And as of 2016, I'm proud to say that we do have a pretty darn good replica of the Bane vest. So now for the tutorial part of this video. This is called Hard Aging Fabric. Here's a quick list of supplies that you're going to need. Don't forget, you're going to want some time and patience with this project, but it is relatively easy. So let's jump right in. So first things first, I'm actually starting out on the over vest. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sanding block and this 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm actually going to take, and with a kind of light to medium hand, I'm going to buff out each individual piece of this armor, as you see me doing here. And you want to make sure that you're scuffing up the whole top surface of this vinyl. And this is vinyl fabric that's been shaped and hand sewn onto the additional fabric. So you are going to want to be kind of light-handed, but you want to give it a good buff. And to give you a little bit of a close-up, I'm going to go ahead and speed through this part because I'm just basically going through and scuffing up all of the panels. But this is prepping your fabric for dye. Now you're going to want to go in with a shop rag and clean off all of the powder off of the top of the armor parts. So we're going to go ahead and grab our dye. Now here I'm using what is called Edge Coat. This can actually be found at any leather crafting store. I found mine at my local Tandy Leather. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of this. It is actually permanent dye. It's typically used for the edge of leather to kind of give it, like, seal it in. But what I found is when you put it over the top of fabric, mainly this vinyl type of fabric, it actually seeps in and it doesn't come off. It's great stuff. Now, key tip here, do not shake your bottle. You want to tip it over and tip it back. It's more of like a light-handed type of shake, but you don't want to rigorously shake the bottle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trusty shop rag that you can tell I've used a bazillion times before, and I'm going to go ahead and just lightly put a coat on here. I did go a little bit heavy-handed on this so you can kind of see what it looks like, but if you fold your fabric over and then you kind of rub the top part of it off before it settles in, it'll lighten up. And one thing I do want to let you guys know is that even though it looks really dark right now, you're going to see by the time that you get done going through and aging every single piece of your armor, like I'm doing right here, that when you get back to the beginning, all of the armor is actually going to be like a lighter color of gray as opposed to this dark, harsh color. So you want to go in and make sure that you're getting all of your corners, and I'm actually going in and darkening this up quite a bit. And I know it looks really black right here, but once we're done and it's dried, it's going to look perfect. And just make sure that you rub all of those dark spots in. On to the next part, which is actually aging the overvest. I'm going to be using this other edge coat from Tandy Leather Factory. They have several colors to choose from, and I have chosen to use a darker brown. You can use a bunch of different colors to achieve any kind of aging that you're looking for. Definitely use scrap fabric to mess around with these techniques, just so you can see what works best for you. Now, think dirty thoughts. No, not like that. What I'm saying is sweat. Sweat sticks into the neckline and the armpit. Use reference photos. What you're going to do is you're going to take this dark brown paint, we're going to call it, and what we're going to do is kind of fold it over into our shop cloth and kind of zhuzh it around in there a little bit. We're kind of diffusing the color because we don't want it to go on too bold right away. And I'm going to take and just kind of lightly pat in around the neckline, around the armpit area. Again, I'm looking off camera at a bunch of different reference photos that I do have of the vest, different shots, and I'll keep going back through and refilling my rag with more paint and folding it over in the fabric. This is very buildable, so depending on how heavy of a hand you go in, you can make it look really, really grungy, or you can make it look just slightly grungy. The whole purpose of this hard aging technique is to basically, wait, hang on a sec. Right here in this little underarm area, I want to show you these wrinkles. These are your best friends. Lightly go over the top of them with your rag will actually create more of a lived-in, realistic type of look. So what I was saying is hard aging is basically taking a garment that is brand new and making it look like it wasn't just purchased off the rack. This technique can be done on all different types of costumes, all different types of clothing. I know that they do this on movie sets and stuff like that. The reason I've chosen the products that I have is because I know that they are not water soluble, meaning these are permanent. This is going to stain the fabric, but it also is going to bring a very realistic look to the aging process. Now, for the sake of this video not being too long, I am not going to be going over the metal aging part in this tutorial, just because that is a whole different ball of wax. There's so much that goes into metal aging, but I am going to show you real quick here. This is the final product. I've already gone ahead and let this sit for a while. The paint is dry. Get it close up. Look at all that dirt. Yeah. So here's a few photos of after I went and did the metal aging, which I'll definitely have a video up for you guys in the near future on that. And I do want to say I have some of the most amazing customers. Seriously, This is just a small handful of photos that guys have sent me in of them in their cosplays, and they look amazing. Thanks again for checking out my video, guys, and feel free to follow me on all other social media, as well as don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!